Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm jumping in with another entry using the This Is Love devotional kit from Illustrated Faith. I have an unboxing on my video or on my channel if you want to check that out. I'm going to be working in John 3:16. You can see I actually have already journaled this verse, but I'm just going to hop on over to the next page and work there. And I'm going to be showing you how to do some stamping with some Neocolors. These are Neocolor 2s. I got mine from By the Well for God. I will link her shop down below. And I will kind of show you how I do that. So I'm going to be using this texture stamp from the stamp set that comes in the kit. And if you didn't catch it, Hello Jilski has a video on her channel showing how she did some stamping with some acrylic paints. And so if you want to do that technique, I will try to remember to link that video down below. Depending on what products you have in your stash and want to use, you kind of get semi-similar effects. So check out her video as well. And what I have here is just a cup of water. It's dirty. It has watercolor in it. But I'm just barely touching the tip of my Neocolor crayon into that water and then scribbling it onto the stamp. Now you're not going to get a perfect impression. This is going to give you kind of a watercolor effect. And that is what I was going for. You definitely don't want too much color or too much water on that crayon. So don't let it just hang out and chill in that water. It's going to get all funky. So just barely touch to the water and then scribble it onto your stamp. And then what I actually do is I let the stamp kind of sit on the page just for an extra second to let the moisture soak into the page. You'll see that here. Well, not that one. When I move on to the hexagons, I let it sit a little bit longer than the smaller stamp. But I'm taking a mixture of colors. I'm taking pink, number 81, and carmine, number 80, and kind of mixing them on the stamp to get different tones of pink. Head on over to my blog. I have a picture of swatches of the Neocolor 2s that go well with this kit if you're interested in that. And I'm just kind of sprinkling these around, and you can see I'm doing first and second generation stamping. There is enough product on that stamp left over that you can get a couple stamps. And then I just take a baby wipe and clean my stamp really well, and that gets that all off of there. So I'll hit it with my heat tool and dry it. And now we can go in and add some of these die cut pieces from the kit. I have just a few left, and so I'm going to add these and create my title up here with this grouping of hexagons. And so a few people have cut out the part of the card that says "Such Great Love," and you can use that, but I'm going to use the clear sticker that comes in the kit and kind of make my own little hexy title up here. So, of course, John 3:16 is probably one of the most memorized, known verses from the Bible. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not die but have eternal life." And that is like the #1 verse that we memorize in Awana. And so all my little kiddos have memorized it. And so we read it over and over and over again. And I think sometimes that we might take it for granted. And so it's kind of nice to revisit it with this devotional and just really focus on what that verse is saying and just the awesomeness of God's love, just how great and huge it is. It's kind of crazy. On screen real quick there, when I glued those down, I only applied glue to part of the die cut. That way I could kind of still lift up the edge and read the text underneath. So the text is still able to be read. Not that I mind, this is my journaling Bible. It doesn't go anywhere with me. I have other Bibles to read, but if I needed to read from here, I still can do that. So now I'm going to go ahead and do some stamping with the Neocolors using the hexy stamps. These are a little bit larger of a stamp, but it works just the same. And so I'm going in with some greens. I'm using turquoise green, number 91, moss green, number 225, and light olive, 245. Again, I'll have swatches over on my blog if you need to see what I picked up for this kit. And I'm just kind of mixing all three colors on there, letting them blend together. And then here's where you'll see I let this sit on the page for a few seconds to let that moisture absorb into the page, and that way when I lift it up it still maintains the hexy shape. If I was just to stamp it and pull it right up, that liquid would be sitting right on top of the Bible page and it would distort a little bit. So continuing on with the devotional card for this entry, and this one says, God is incredibly creative, gifted, powerful, mighty, intelligent, majestic, and very much in love with you. Can you imagine someone you don't even know coming up to you and saying, I understand that if you don't get a heart transplant right away that you will die. I'll give you my son's heart. In fact, I've already told the doctor to remove it and it's waiting for you at the hospital. You will now be able to live. How would you respond to that person? You'd be incredibly shocked and amazed by their great expression of love. They gave their son so you could live. That's what God the Father did for us. He gave his son Jesus for us. Such great love, such a great God. I mean, how crazy. Those of us who are parents can kind of relate to this. And I mean, I couldn't imagine sending one of my kids away knowing that they're going to die for the well-being of somebody else. This, as I was working through this devotional, is really making me think of my friend Vicki and her daughter Allie. Allie is currently waiting for her third lung transplant. She just got listed over at Duke, and so she's waiting for the call any minute that she can go in and get her third set of lungs. And of course, what comes along with that, and part of the battle she's dealt with, is just the idea that somebody has to die for her to do that. And it's, usually an accident that happens. And as long as they are a match or whatever, she'll get their lungs. But I just can only imagine what it would be like if they got the phone call that somebody willingly, complete stranger, chose to go in and on their own free will die so that she could have lungs and live. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here, is that God willingly, knowingly, and made the choice to send his son, and his only son. Vicki has other children, but God only has one, Jesus, and sent Jesus to die for all of us. And just think of how rotten some of us can be sometimes. I mean, and he sent him to die for all of us. He loves us that much. And so it's just such an amazing verse that I think we quickly recite and go over sometimes. But this was a nice opportunity to really dive in deeper, and of course spend some extra time praying for Allie. And I would just ask that you guys would pray for Allie as she's during this time waiting for another set of lungs, and just to be with her family during this time. On screen, I just stamped all those little hexies all over, and then I went in with a Micron pen to kind of messily sketch some lines around them. Just a few of them got a little wonky, so to define them a little more. And then now I'm going to go in and add some ink splatters. And I saw that I had the paintbrush from the Illustrated Faith paints stuck in the back of my water palette, and it made me remember how much I love that brush for ink splatters. So I decided to go ahead and pull it out and use the black watercolors to add these. I'm going to be stamping with some black ink here in a minute, and so I wanted to tie in that black in some other places. And it just has the most awesome splatter effect. I love that brush. So I went ahead and dried that off camera real quick. And now my Bible's getting chunky, so I added this paper pad behind there so that I would get good stamping. And I'm going to pull out and use that John stamp from the stamp set. I'm dirtying it up on my hand because it's the first time that I've used it. And I am stamping with VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which does bleed through, but that's okay. I'll deal with it later on. And then I'm just going to put this down at the bottom. And again, that John 3:16 is actually on that other page that's already been journaled. So this will help kind of point this entry to where it belongs. And then this little 3:16, one little tip with these teeny tiny delicate stamps from Illustrated Faith, don't press too hard because it messes up the impression of the stamp. You just barely want to kiss the page with that. And then here, I'm going to show you, actually, I've already stamped this word John, and to get more use out of the stamp, I'm actually going to cut the O out of the word John. This doesn't kill my stamp. It's totally fine. I'm being very careful to cut around the letters, and I can always piece it all the way back together and use the whole word John, but I'm way more likely to use this little oval shape, and so I'm going to show you here what that looks like. And so I can use this as a texture in future entries, and I can get a lot more use out of that stamp for me and what I need it for. So I know it's close to Shauna's heart, and she had, certain ideas behind it. But for me, I just went ahead and cut it apart. And then I'm going to add a little cluster of tabs at the top. These are from my stash. I'm pretty sure these are from the You Are Loved collection, both of these, but I'm not 100% sure. I just have all my tabs in a little jar. And I ran out of my Tombow Mono dry adhesive, so I'm just going to use the Tombow Mono liquid glue to attach everything down. and create this little clustering. There's no reason to have 2 tabs. I just wanted to pull in the greens and the pinks and use up some of those tabbies. Here's the washi tape from the kit, and I'm going to go ahead and just tear it in half. It's a little bit wide for what I want up here, and I like the texture of the torn edge, so I'm going to bring that down to the bottom here in a minute as well. That way it's not just in the one place. Pulling out some of my word fetties. I don't know that these black ones are available anymore. I think that they were in the Genesis kit. If they're still available, I'll try to link them down below, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to spell out I am perfectly loved. And then I will bring in that little piece of washi down towards the bottom there. Does anybody feel like we need something in between the standard width of washi and the skinny washi? I just feel like I need like an in-between width of washi tape. Does anybody else feel me on that? I feel like the skinny is just too skinny for this kind of stuff. I'm going to take a look here and pull off another clear sticker just to use up some of the supplies and add in some more little phrases there. And that is it for the entry. I went ahead and journaled a short prayer off camera. Be sure to head on over to my blog. You can hear more of my heart behind the art, or read my heart behind the art, and see some close-up pictures. Leave any questions or comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you were inspired, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.